Hello and welcome back to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts and National Album Day. It's 2025 and we are starting this year with a bang. My name is Jess Izzat, host of the Record Club, and I'm very excited to say that our guest today is Lambrini Girls, chatting all about their fiery debut album, Who Let the Dogs Out. If you've hung out with us here before, you will know that we're going to be spending the next half an hour or so talking to Lambrini Girls all about the new record, and then we'll be putting forward some of your questions about the album for them to answer. So if you want to get involved, drop us a question in the comments section. I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. And one lucky person who sends in a question today is going to be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers Wilkins PX7 Season 2 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones. I've been listening to the album in mine, so don't miss out. Get your questions to us. It sounds great. And also, I have to mention, if you haven't already got yourself a physical copy of the album, we thoroughly recommend that you order one from your local record store once our chat with the band is over. But first, let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello to Phoebe and Lily, aka Lambrini Girls. Hello, how are we doing?
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Pretty decent. How are you?
Yeah, good. I just have to say, before we get stuck in to the main chat about the album, I have to say huge congratulations, as Who Let the Dogs Out reached number 16 on the official albums chart. This is with your debut album last week, and even better, hit number 1 on the official rock and metal albums chart. And I believe you have a little something to celebrate with as well.
Says it right there.
Wow! Woo!
Let's get it.
Cheers that.
Yeah. Very exciting. Thanks for that.
A specialist number 1 award from the official charts. How does it feel?
It's pretty crazy to have something physical.
Yeah, it's nuts.
The official charts is something you grew up listening to, so it's pretty weird to be able to hold something in your hands, which shows that you're now also doing it, which is quite nice.
Especially with such a stupid album title.
Who Let the Dogs Out?
It's amazing.
Woof.
I feel like it's just so like shiny and new. Where's it gonna go?
It's shiny and it's real and it's tangible and like,
yeah.
Can I swear? I forgot.
I mean, half the album is swearing, so I think I'm gonna have to if I name some of the some of the tracks.
Play this for a fucking walk.
It's cunty, is what I was gonna say. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cunty. So each week on the Record Club, we also like to start things with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores in the UK. And this week's question comes from Resident Music. They've asked a big one, actually. They've said, how do we go about encouraging more young bands, especially young female bands, to find their voice, to push back against injustices that they see around them?
I think it's a great question, and it's a question I wish we were asked more. I don't think there's like a set linear way, and I don't think there's a formula to that. Otherwise, I think if there was, we would have found it already, and we wouldn't be seeing the injustices, and there wouldn't be the disparity and the imbalance between, cis men in the music industry and women and young women and queer people. I think what's most important, that if you have a voice, which we do, as much as it is diminished and we get told to shut up and be quiet, be as loud as you can, be as angry as you can. And even if you're in a space and you're the only girl there and you're surrounded by a bunch of guys, your voice is the most valuable one in the room. And I think what is most important is if you can tell yourself that and start to believe it, it helps other girls and queer people believe it too. Because if they see you shouting on stage as loud as you can at the top of your lungs, that shows that they can do it. Because if we can do it, so can they. And I think that's a great way to mobilize, is just to be as, try and find that within yourself, and kind of anyone else that says different is a dickhead.
Yeah, and I think those dickheads as well, I think where we could start sort of as a society is maybe by not holding women and queer people to a much higher standard as we do men, so that sometimes shouting and being angry and being loud is what's needed, but not every woman is disposed that way, and you shouldn't have to feel like you have to be the loudest in the room in order to be heard. So I think that as a society we can all start by just listening to women in the first place and queer people.
I feel like even just people hearing you say these words, if you have those feelings inside, it kind of affirms that other people also feel that too, and they'll feel less alone in it. And what they've mentioned about encouraging more young bands to find that voice and talk about it. Don't let people say that you can't use your voice for that, because if that's how you truly feel, then you should be getting
Pretty
it out
much. And
there.
I think also what, a good point to make is that, women and queer people being, silenced or having their voices diluted, it's not our fault. It's the fault of the patriarchy. And I think, what can women and queer people do? But what can cis men do? Because that's really where that's where the buck stops there, really. They're the ones that don't really have any responsibility. And it does come down to what can young girls do to make their voices heard? What can men do in order to elevate the voices of women and queer people? Number one, they can call out their friends when they hear something bad, and that's going to make women and queer people feel less unsafe to speak up in spaces, to give space to women to be able to talk. If you call yourself a feminist, then champion women. If you're like a guy and you're in like a 5-piece post-punk cis male band, champion women, support them, get them on support slots. Elevate these issues, because there's a significant disconnect from being concerned and expressing concern to actually doing something about it. And I think that's, a massive issue. So if you do, to all cis straight geezers who might be watching this, if you call yourself a feminist, put your money where your mouth is.
And take women and queer people seriously, and so that we don't have to scream and shout about it, because like I said, not everyone is disposed in that way. And women shouldn't have to scream and shout about, to be taken seriously and to be heard in the first place. So yeah, it starts with the people who hold the privilege, I think.
Mhm. Obviously, I have to say a huge thanks to Resident Music for sending us that question so that you guys could share that amazing answer with us today. I want to get stuck into the album now, which obviously talk about so many injustices, but the debut, I mean, yeah, Who Let the Dogs Out? How are you feeling about it? I think the award sort of speaks for itself with the reception, but I mean, that's your debut record and it's on vinyl.
It's pretty crazy. It was like, scary, because everyone says like, oh, your debut album, like that's the hallmark of your career, like no pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So it was really scary, and wasn't really sure how it was going to go down. So it's been a relief, but also feel very blessed and privileged to see that people are enjoying it. And what we really wanted for the album is like anyone who's affected by issues, which is sought and sung about on the album, to feel affirmed by them and to feel less alone. And on the flip side, have people question their privilege and their bias towards certain things. So as long as it's doing that, we can get good press, we can get accolades, but what's most important is like whose ears that it's actually reaching. So if we feel like we're doing a good job on that, then Bob's your Dylan, job done.
Yeah, because we obviously love for people to enjoy our album, but I think also a big point of it is to encourage people to care about things that may not directly affect them, as that I think is the way for social change.
It's funny that people would mention about the debut record being like the hallmark to you guys, because I feel like of all people, you would have so much to say or so much more to say. So whatever. How long has this record been in the making though, and like where did it begin for you? And also, I want to know at what point it got called Who Let the Dogs Out?
It's not been in the making for that long. I think like people always say that you've got your whole life to your debut album, and it's the second one that's like really hard to kind of follow and stuff. But we literally did not have any time to write this album at all. We had to like specifically block off a week in our calendar and like turn down gigs in order to find the time to actually write these songs, which we wrote like 2 weeks before we were going into the studio to record them. So and that was in April last year.
That is so efficient.
It's very, very efficient, very efficient, and yeah, it put a bit of fire under our asses, which I think we need.
I think otherwise we wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I think if we didn't have that studio time booked in and been like, okay, we have to like go into the studio with songs, and we would have just never written it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking to you now if we're honest, Jess.
We would just tour forever.
I think deadlines are the thing, right? Like some creatives need that, like right now, this is your time, now or never. So I guess it was a good thing. I want to know, does Kate Moss know about the album?
She doesn't, as far as I know. I think in regards to that song, like for anyone who's might be watching now and doesn't know what we're talking about, we've got a song called Nothing Tastes as Good as It Feels, which paraphrases the Kate Moss quote that she said. I think that Kate Moss gives no fucks that my period has stopped, which is quite, agitative. But I think at the same time, it is very much worth mentioning that Kate Moss was probably one of the biggest victims of beauty ideals, especially in the 90s. So it is very much like hyperbole to sort of use as an example of the extremities of it and paraphrase that quote. But if she does in any way know about this song, no beef. Hope you're all right, babe. Genuinely.
Unless she comes back with an amazing clapback track.
Then I'd be like,
but at the same time, she's pretty cunty now. So
like, there's no beef. We're not here to shoot down Kate Moss.
Yeah.
You go live, laugh, love, Kate Moss. You're an icon.
Yeah.
Is there anything in this record that perhaps on a first listen you might not hear or know about? Maybe it's something in the writing or recording process, maybe that a sound or noise that made it into a track that we might not know about that you kept in, or like I don't know, like a story behind one of the tracks in the writing or
single
producing
song
process
on the album actually has a disguised fart in it.
Yeah, and everyone took it in turns between tracks.
Yeah. We all kind of had a go.
Yes.
Practicing.
Yeah, and it was recorded on like a little Walkman sort of like demo thing. And then it got ran through a couple pedals.
It was recorded on a baby monitor. And so have fun and listen out for it.
Have fun trying to find that one.
Baby monitor.
Which track would you say your fart made it onto?
Yeah, we might start a competition for the next album. Actually, everyone's sending your farts.
Yeah,
and the best ones get put.
Give us your first. Blast away.
Okay, people are meant to be sending in questions for you guys, not farts. But I mean, if that's one,
we're not picky.
Okay, let's talk about the artwork as well, because we were having a little look at this before we went live, and I love that this is the cover. I mean, it feels quite chaotic, but also just really fun at the same time. Like, what's going on in here, really?
It was both of those things.
I'm so sorry. It's when Lily said baby monitor, it killed me. I'll be back.
We'll be back.
Cover.
Yes,
Sorry.
cover. It was one of those, again, one of those very last minute things where like we were in America touring around, and our label were like, by the way, deadline for the artwork is in like a week, and we're like, oh, we're not going to be home on time to like do the cover and stuff, so we had to figure out a way to do it in America. And we played 2 shows with Amel and the Sniffers in LA. Well, we did multiple shows with them throughout America, but we had 2 consecutive ones in LA, so like we could do it after a show on the first night, and then the next day we can kind of spend time to tidy up the inevitable mess we're gonna make. So that's pretty much what we did. And like we're very lucky to have met like some really cool people just on tour. We met this band called Deathlands at a festival in Belgium. And the guy in the red cap, that's Brian from Deathlands. And then that's Brian. Hi, Brian. And then his partner, Chloe, who's drinking from the cup. Then it's our session drummer over there, Sid, who's snogging their partner. Our tour manager,
Who's scrapping
Brian. And then there's just this guy who was kind of just there at the house called Casey.
We don't know him.
We don't know where he came from, but he was
just there.
Yeah, it was great. Like we loved Casey.
He was an icon. Like we literally walked into this big like house.
Oh yeah, we booked like a
just
really fancy, like sick.
Yeah.
It wasn't really fancy, but it was a really cool like Airbnb with like a pool and like a mini golf course and stuff.
And he just came with it apparently.
Yeah,
he was just there.
We got back from the show and we were like,
hi,
hello, and he was like, hey, what's up? We're like, cool.
We're like, who are you? He's like, I'm Casey, and then he just stayed the entire time. So we really don't know what he's up to or where he came from, but he really makes the photos. So
I
shout
think
out
so. I'm
Casey.
very glad he was there, wherever he came from.
Yeah.
It was good fun. We had a few drinks. We set a TV on fire. That was Derek Perlman, who apparently, the photographer who took it. He specializes in photographing things that are on fire, which as soon as we found out, we were like, yes, this is our guy.
Yeah. He's amazing talent.
Yeah. And then we spent the next morning diving into the pool.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Trying to fish out the confetti from the bottom of
the newspaper. And we did that at like 3 a.m. By that point, we were delirious. And I remember I woke up like 12 hours later and we were just crawling around like this patio, like hanging.
Picking up tiny pieces of confetti. I had had a new tattoo done like a few days before and I jumped into the pool and then my tattoo got fucking infected. So it's great. There's a lot happening there. There's a lot of lore. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I feel like it was worth
100%.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Did you say that? Yeah. Okay. Cool. No regrets. And this stuff, you just had it, or was it?
It was for the shoot.
Yeah. We went to Walmart.
We played in Del Mar the day before. So then on our way from Del Mar to LA, we were like, John, you got to stop at a Walmart. And like it was literally like supermarket sweep. Like I got like a supermarket cart and like we were running around Walmart. Was it Walmart or Target?
It was Walmart.
It was Walmart. And we were like, okay, whatever. That's stupid looking. We'll take that. Okay, cool. We'll take that. That's kind of sort of a party vibe. Let's go. Confetti guns. Let's go. Oh, look, actual guns. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, America.
I mean, you smashed it with that, to be fair. That is, again, like these short deadlines, I feel like
they do wonders for us.
We do thrive
in the chaos.
It's like a little like cheeky challenge. Love it. And also, track listing wise as well. I mean, we've got so many incredible tracks on here. I feel like the A side, no, I don't know. I can never, if I really love a full record, I find it really hard to pick which one's a favorite. Okay, if the A side were in a fight with the B side, who would win?
A side for me.
B side for me, 100%.
And that's where we differ.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Contology is on the B side, so that might just do it for me.
So is you're not from around here on the B side?
That's B side.
Yeah.
That's B side.
Love also. Basically, all my favorite tracks are on the B side, apart from Bad Apple. I love Bad Apple.
I like the A side because it's happier.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of them are very like the lyrics are quite dark a lot of the time, but I don't know. My favorite at the moment is No Homo.
Oh yeah, No Homo is sick. No Homo is sick.
Yeah,
I think No Homo is either No Homo or Contology, but then they're on A side, so obviously that doesn't help me picking. But anyway, No Homo, I feel like I picked out as one that's like a phrase that like stings quite a lot, and you're not even like sure. You know when it gets on that line, whether it's like you're not even sure whether you can say it at all.
Yeah.
But then you're singing it a song, but you're making it into, you're sending out this message. What's been the response to that?
I think with that song, in particular, like a lot of like everyone that I know who said, oh, the people that have actually said in particular, no homo and cuntology are my favorites. Everyone's been queer, which I think is really interesting because it's such a thing where a lot of people who aren't queer like just don't want to touch that because they're like, no, you know. But the song in itself, it's supposed to sort of reclaim the word, but it's a song about sort of having internalized homophobia and really liking a girl or a queer person and not knowing if they like you too, and feeling that sort of internalized shame, and that acts as a barrier for you to actually pursue anything because you kind of feel really gross about yourself because of all of your internalized homophobia and the way you've been brought up. And I think a great sort of like, you know, just like a great sort of statue like quote that I think everyone knows growing up is the term no homo. So it was sort of like a and reclaim it, I think.
Smashed it. We have some fan questions. So Philippe on the Record Club's Twitter or X, what's your favorite classic punk rock band?
That's really hard. It depends what that entails, really. Like what
kind
classic
of
punk, because if we're talking like Sex Pistols, I don't like them. I like the Jam a lot, actually.
I mean,
I like the Ramones.
It does. Like, yeah, definition. I'm not the best with genres and stuff. I mean, would Fugazi count as like a punk
Hell
band?
yeah.
If so, then I would definitely say Fugazi are probably
Shellac.
one of my favorites.
Yeah,
it's
Unwound?
like that.
Are they?
No, they're like a weird, like Slint and Unwound are like their
Yeah.
own weird little thing.
But then also, I think a lot of the time, like for this legend who's asked this question, a lot of the Philippe, your legend, listen up, read my lips, Philippe. A lot of the time when people like refer to classic punk as well, a lot of it is usually it's just male bands. And then, you know, if you think about, you know, DC bands, like amazing bands that came out of DC, like Bikini Kill, and if you look at like that whole Riot Girl movement, like Bratmobile, Huggy Bear, Bikini Kill, like Babes and Toyland, you know, like all of them, they're not considered classic punk, but they still are. Like that's a classic punk sound. But they have to have their own genre because they're women. But if so, then I would say classic punk band, maybe probably Bikini Kill.
I'm on Fugazi.
I feel like Philippe now has a real long list of punk bands that he can add to his playlist. Amy on the Record Club's YouTube is asking, at what point in the process will you begin to think about the second album?
Whenever we have a break from touring, I guess.
Yeah, which probably won't be.
And you got a long tour.
Until we're like 70.
Yeah.
Like, so second album.
Write some songs. I suppose it's about time.
Yeah. But we'll try. We're actually trying new music. Like we were speaking about that earlier today. So whenever we get the opportunity, really.
And we have Lou on the Record Club's Facebook. He says, what song would you give each other from the album?
Oh, well, it's like a present. Here you go. Yeah.
I'm wondering whether he means, or Lou means yes as a present. Okay.
Okay, Lou. Let's dance. As a present, I'd give you Bad Apple because I know you really like it, so I could go. Yeah,
but that's a shit present.
Is it?
Yeah, because I mean, yeah.
What would you give me?
I don't know. I don't think I understand.
Just as a present. Imagine every song was a present. And you could give me one for Christmas.
I don't know. All of them, I guess.
All of them. There you go.
All of the whole record. Okay. Well, thank you, Lou. All of them.
Thanks, Lou.
Have been gifted. Well, Girls, thank you so much for joining us today. That's all we have time for. Obviously, we've loved having you on. Very quickly, before you go, what's the place that you're most excited to go on tour? Maybe one that you haven't been to.
Oh, that we've got books already.
Yeah.
We're really excited to go back to America. There's some places we're going to play in Las Vegas, which I'm really excited about.
Sick.
I want to get married by an Elvis impersonator.
To who?
Anyone. That's actually a public call.
The
If
whole
you wanna marry
record.
me in Vegas, then just hit me up.
I guess Vegas would be cool. I love Italy. We're going to Italy and I love being in Italy, so I'm excited for that. Where else are we doing in the US that's cool? I mean, all of it is cool, but I mean, when we were there in the summer, I loved the Midwest. And we're not doing much of the Midwest, unfortunately. Like Ohio was fucking bumping. I saw a raccoon.
Yeah, that was sick.
Is great sense of community there. Great bands, loved it. But we're not doing that.
Yeah, but we will be the first band to play in space, and you can hold us to that. So we've all got that to look forward to too.
That is cunty. Okay, Phoebe and Lily, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to get your hands, obviously, people at home, on your own copy of Who Let the Dogs Out. And now this episode is over, we can also let you know who the winner of this week's Bowers Wilkins Wireless Headphones Prize is. And that will be Amy on the Record Club's YouTube. Huge congratulations. Slide into the Record Club's DMs. We'll get those headphones to you. My name's Jess Izzat. Thank you everyone for joining us, sending in your questions. This and all previous episodes are available for you to watch back on Spotify or YouTube. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Record Club. Lambrini Girls, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.